I'm Shane.
And I'm Bo.
We are your Kentucky Fried Critics.
Welcome back for another episode, everybody.
We finally finished out our spooky celebration for October, but we might have a little bit of a curveball coming for you. But before we get there, I'm going to go over our socials. Everybody knows they can find us Facebook and Instagram. You just got to search for Kentucky Fried Critics. Nothing special, nothing crazy, no hyphens. After that, if you want to look for us on YouTube, YouTube is the one. It gets a little tricky. You can search for Kentucky Fried Critics. You're still going to find us that way.
That's the easiest way.
But someone else did have the handle at YouTube, Kentucky Fried Critics, spelled out.
Monsters.
So on that one, we are still just KF Critics. I have not gone in to make it hyphenated like we could. I'm still thinking about it.
It's okay if you don't. It'd be
more
just for me.
It won't change anything about how people find anything, I don't think, because it just it's a handle. It's not anything else. Our website's going to be the other one that we can find us at. The website, of course, being hosted by our wonderful hosts over at Acast. So that one is going to be shows.acast.com/Kentucky-fried-critics.
Hyphens!
There they are.
Yay! I was waiting for them. I was trying to not interrupt so we could get to the hyphens quicker.
That's going to be where you can find all of our socials, and all that stuff is linked there. Every episode is there.
Yeah. Like, follow, subscribe, hit all the buttons and knickknacks. You all know what you're doing.
Well, whichever one you're on, do what it does. After we go from there, obviously, you can still find us if you are just searching on any kind of podcast platform. Most of them carry us.
Spotify's popular.
Yeah, Spotify, Amazon. We're on Amazon. Some people have definitely been listening on Amazon recently.
Still waiting on my iHeartRadio t-shirt.
That's all the socials. That's everywhere you're going to find us. Oh, I guess I can throw in the email. Well, sometimes we do this, sometimes we don't. Again, it's always linked. You never have to...
Yeah.
We're never too far away. You can always find us.
We're right there, man. We're right with you.
But the email, of course, is just going to be KentuckyFriedCritics@gmail.com. Keeping it simple for you. I know we kept you waiting. I already started. We might have one more surprise for you guys on what exactly we're covering and whether or not we have been ready to leave spooky time. So go ahead.
Go
ahead, Bo. Hit us with what
we're drinking wild turkey today, guys. What kind of movie has a wild turkey?
Thankskilling?
Thankskilling, the titular Thanksgiving horror movie.
So we are officially crossing borders here from spooky celebration. We are going to be doing all month long, just like we did for Halloween for our spooky celebration. We did different horror movies all month long. This month, we're going to do movies that all connect to Thanksgiving somehow. Much like how our drinks aren't always exactly about what we're talking about.
They're close.
But they're connected.
Yeah.
You can find the connection. You will find the connection.
What's that game? Like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon?
6 degrees.
6 degrees.
So you'll be able to find the connection once we explain them. That's the beauty of being the host of something like this. As long as we can make the connection, we can explain to you the connection.
Yeah, we'll explain it eventually.
We didn't give you guys a heads up because it might have gave away too much on our wild turkey.
Yeah.
If we gave you the heads up. Maybe not. This is a pretty obscure movie.
No, this one I'm not even going to be like, no, people should know. No.
This is definitely spoiler territory because lots of people may not have seen this. So if you don't want to know about it,
go watch it.
If you have a problem with foul language, stop. Don't go watch it.
No, don't do that either.
It was a great movie.
Yes.
It is definitely not for everybody and definitely not been seen by everybody for sure.
Super low-key cult following.
I don't know if we really got a lot to say before we get in. We're not going to start, we'll do a little bit of background about the movie because, again, this is definitely one I don't expect a lot of people to know.
This was a super indie movie.
Yeah.
Low budget.
Really cheap.
Really cheap special effects.
One of the best descriptors I read about the movie is it's like a trauma parody of a trauma movie. Like someone tried to make a parody in the trauma style of an actual trauma movie, and I think that totally describes it. If you don't know what trauma movies are, they are movies by
Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman.
The great Lloyd Kaufman.
Great movies. We're talking Toxic Avengers 1 through I don't know anymore.
6.
It's
like
crazy.
6.
We're talking Sergeant Kabuki Man.
Yeah, Sergeant Kabuki Man, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Maniac Cop. Did they do Maniac Cop?
I think so.
I think they did at least one of them.
And I've got to say, again, we don't want to go too far. We both love Troma, and we will save that conversation for when we do a Troma movie.
But this
definitely
like
has that
movie.
vibe. So for anybody who is listening and, again, still on the fence on whether they want to listen to the rest of this podcast episode, if you like Troma, let this be the thing that goes ahead and tells you.
You're gonna
stick in for the ride. Let's go ahead and play this out right now.
Anything that's bad in this movie, they probably did it on purpose.
The acting is bad
on purpose.
So if you go into this movie and you're not the kind of person that's used to, like, if you're not used to Troma movies, this is going to have a very weird feel.
Yeah, it's going to be jarring.
But the thing that I really want to point out is, like, you know, like, if you are a fan of Troma movies, you'll like the kitsch in this. Especially when you think about the fact that, you know, like, early Troma movies had this kind of feel to it because they were actually bad actors. This is literally some people that were like, we love Troma movies and we want to make a movie that feels like that. So they are doing these bad acting jobs on purpose.
The director is back there being like, no, you're acting too good in this scene.
We need it a little bit rougher.
I need it stiff.
Yeah, you know? And so, like, it's great.
Some of the dialogue is just stuff people don't actually say.
Yeah. So when you hear us say that this is a bad movie, we don't mean it's a bad movie. We just mean, like, you know, like,
in the
traditional
terms.
sense. In the traditional sense,
yes.
This would be a bad version of things. This is it's bad acting.
Yeah.
But it's so great.
Yes.
Yeah, so this, again, this is an independent movie directed and written by Jordan Downey. Again, these are not names I know. I did not do any research. You guys know us. We're just here to give you guys a fun time while talking about a movie or a pop culture topic.
Yeah.
Movies have been our niche so far. They've been fun.
There's so many.
I'll go ahead and hit who is in the movie. Again, we're not expecting you guys to know these. They're not A-list celebrities either. They're probably not C-list celebrities.
No, and if they've been in anything else, let us know.
We're just gonna hit you guys with the main cast here. So we've got Natasha Cordova as Allie, Lindsay Anderson as Kristen, Lance Predmore as Johnny, Aaron Ringheiser Carlson. I hope that's right. That's right.
That's German, if anything.
And then Ryan E. Francis as Darren. These are the main cast. Yep. There are other characters. They are definitely cursory at best. Yeah. Again, this movie is a fast run time. It's like an hour.
An hour. Yeah, it's really quick.
When you're sitting at only an hour, obviously, if someone is not a main cast character, they are in very little. No. Because there's not really any extra time for them to be in.
I don't think anybody else even has a name in the movie.
Kristen's dad, because he's the sheriff. Oh. But it's cheating because he's just sheriff, their last name.
Yeah.
I think at this point we've got you guys thoroughly set up for the ride that we're about to take you on.
The craptacular spectacle that we're about to go on.
So, like we said, turn back now if you have a problem with vulgar, foul language,
gross stuff.
Yeah, this movie has a lot of things in it. Again, this is not about us. I'm not telling you if you have a problem with those things, don't like us.
Yeah, no.
Our language is a little bit. But beyond that, none of those other things apply to us.
No, there was some shit in here even I was like, whoa, dude.
Yeah, no, there are lines in this movie, trust us guys, when we tell you that they are foul enough, they won't be repeated by us.
Yeah.
If that's your barometer, if you listen to us and you already think that we're on the verge of what's okay to you.
Right, even with us being like, we're not going to say.
We're trying to filter a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So if you hear us describe this, understand this is anything you hear us say, they say way worse.
Yeah, they say way worse stuff.
That being said, it was a wonderful time. Foul language, all this stuff doesn't have to be your thing to appreciate the movie.
No, it's great.
It is in the movie.
Appreciate the effort put in.
Yeah, it is in the movie. It is not the focus. It's not the primary goal of the movie just to do it. But it is there. And it is definitely a little...
too much?
But yeah, they definitely go a little over the top sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you got anything you want to throw in about it before we get started?
No, but just speaking of possibly going a little too far, the beginning of the movie.
Very beginning of the movie, since we're actually starting. Is not, again, normally it's my time to shine, beginning of the movie. Yeah. We got a song intro. This movie does have a song intro, but before we even get to the song intro.
We get a cold open.
We get a cold open flashback.
From 1621, right after the first Thanksgiving.
Yes. 5 seconds into the movie is titty.
Yep, just a big titty.
And again, mind you, everybody, we're just telling you this so that way you are ready for what's going to happen. There are no other boobs in the movie. No. They flirt with it like it's going to happen. It does
like
not.
A bra or something
Yeah,
later.
it does not. But
this lady is
there's
full
definitely there's a pilgrim woman 100% running through the plains, the woods,
something just with tits out, just bouncing,
running away from our killer turkey. Because he's already, the movie, literally, the flashback, we don't know anything.
No.
But the fact that there is a killer turkey. And it is chasing her, and he can talk.
Yeah, he can. His first thing he says, he comes up, and he's just like, nice tits, bitch.
And then she's dead. And then flashback's over. And now we can get to my favorite part, because there is a badass music intro.
It was so good.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, the music that is mixed for this movie is beautiful. It's mixed well. The sound levels are great, and it's almost bad because it's a detriment to how the vocals, the dialogue is mixed horribly.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
These people, it sounds crappy. It sounds worse than the mics we're on right now.
Oh yeah. Sometimes it sounds like they don't even. They're just using the camera's mics.
Oh yeah,
right?
It's pretty rough. That being said, this movie was made recently enough that obviously they had access to digital cameras, so the footage looks good still. Yeah. But sound is where you can definitely tell they didn't have a budget for equipment.
Yeah, they probably didn't have like a sound guy.
Yeah, it gives it away a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now that being said, the music though, the music picks it up.
That first song is so good.
It opens with this sick beat that's going on. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just this beat. It's not like a rap beat. It's not like a rock beat. It is its own kind of beat. It's like in between
almost Queen of the Damned.
Yeah. It's just got this
vibe
like
to it.
Yeah,
like
there you go. It's that new metal.
Yeah,
right. It's
new
like,
metal.
It's that Korn era type of music. You know, like that weird hybrid type of thing. Yeah, so it's got a nice bump to it.
Right.
It's good.
And that synthesizer in the background.
Yeah, and then you just really all of a sudden start hearing in the background a mix of both menacing laughs and gobbling turkeys.
Yep.
And then like a demonic. It was beautiful. Chef's kiss.
Right.
Could not have asked for a better intro.
Not too long either.
No, it was
like a minute and a half.
To say about the music, like I said, the way it's mixed and how well it sounds. Like again, we cut straight from this into this cool like rock guitar riff as they go. We pan across a college.
Yeah, nice college campus
because we see kids running out.
Yeah,
it's the beginning of Thanksgiving break. Mind you, it's the beginning of Thanksgiving break. All of these kids are acting like Thanksgiving break is spring break. Yeah. All of them. They even make fun of one girl because they're like, they make fun of Allie because she is acting extra like it's spring break. And I was like, all of you fucks are acting like it's spring break.
She's over. She's got her shirt.
Yeah,
up,
she does the woo spring break type.
Yeah,
look.
Woo spring break.
Well, she even says it, which is funny because it's not spring break.
Yeah,
it's outrageous because they give her a hard time, but all of these kids are acting like this is spring break. None of these kids are acting like it's 4 days that they're going home.
We're just going
turkey.
home to eat turkey, right? They're acting like they're about to go hit Cancun and shit.
It is crazy. But so we immediately open to seeing Johnny, who is our classic quarterback
star of the football team.
Yeah, well, he's not though.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We quickly find out Johnny has just been knocked from being the star quarterback to the B team quarterback.
Oh,
so he's no longer the best quarterback.
Yeah, caused some heat with his dad. He says. And
then so we see that Johnny is that cliche kind of character, that football star,
clean cut Mr. America,
and his best friend Billy, what we can assume is his best friend, just by the way they play the scene. His best friend Billy is your typical. Well, again, let's set this up for you. If Johnny is like your all-star quarterback, from here I just want you to think Varsity Blues. So James Vanderbeek's best friend was Billy Bob.
Yeah,
right.
He's basically the same guy.
Billy is Billy Bob.
Yep, just a big raw-boned hillbilly fucker.
Yeah, like 100%. Like, do you not see the cliche?
Yeah, I do.
The cliche is right there.
Yeah. Was Billy on the football team too? Did they ever say?
No, Billy's not.
Oh.
No, in this 100%, it's just that Johnny's on the football team. Don't know how they're friends. But now what proceeds to happen next really confused the hell out of me. We see more people join in. They're like, they're both getting outside. They're like, yeah, right, Thanksgiving break. And they say they're going to go home. So you're like, oh, they must live in the same hometown, right? So you're like, okay, that's fine. I can work with that. Then they see their girls, not girlfriends. Neither one of these girls are their girlfriends.
No.
Both of them are throwing themselves at
Johnny.
Johnny, but one of them is like a slut. Allie,
She's the definition of a pick-me girl. She is so much just like, hey, Lo, everything you say is funny.
Well, and she literally says, like, take me to your cat. You know, like, she is hitting on him hard. That being said, Kristen, the other girl, the proper girl in the movie, also wants him, but she's just
not being a slut about it.
A lot subtler about how she's trying to throw it out there to him. But both of these girls join the group, and so you're like, okay, everybody's going together. Then we get one more guy, our dude Darren.
Yep.
Darren runs up, jumps on Billy's back, and so you can tell that Darren and Billy are friends, right?
Yeah.
Darren and Johnny have never met.
No.
But they're all about to ride home together. But they all live in the same town.
The Darren Johnny scene was weird. He's just like, oh yeah, you were the football player. He's like, yeah, man, you know, like check out my muscle.
No, that was super homoerotic.
That was super weird.
But even before we get there, it was weird because I was just like, wait, so they live in the same town. So that's Thanksgiving break. So they've at least been in, even if we assume this is freshman year, they've at least been in college for 3 months. Johnny is driving. Johnny's never met Darren. He's never met his best friends. Well,
friend.
Well, and it's literally the dynamic of the people is it's like, you know, Billy is Johnny's sidekick that gets kicked around.
Yeah.
And Darren is Billy's sidekick that Billy kicks around. And so you're like, you've never met your sidekick's sidekick? I don't buy this.
No, he keeps that shit separate. You know?
I guess so, dude.
Billy's a very private person.
That's the only explanation we have, dude.
Yeah. But Darren's kind of gross.
Darren is just
he's
really
weird. He's always
dude.
like wiping his nose with his hand
and he says wild stuff, dude. So from there we literally like I said, we get the awkwardness. They're all going home together.
Yeah.
They all live in the same town. That's what really got me is that Darren is right. So is Darren just
I think he might just be going along with him because
to Billy's house.
To Billy's house.
Like that's my thing though. If that is the case, you're telling me that this dude is close enough friends with Billy and Billy and Johnny are from the same town that Billy's never introduced Johnny to Darren. I don't buy this weirdness. No. It's so awkward. So they all pile in the Jeep.
It's a nice Jeep.
Kinda. There are some scenes in the movie where you can see like the windshield wipers don't work. Like, they're just like stuck up in the air.
Just stuck straight up.
Yeah.
Well, that is a rental.
But so they all pile in a Jeep together with the top off, and then they start driving, and then we immediately see them with the top on.
Yeah,
no
bad
explanation.
Continuity.
Yeah, they
bad
just
editing.
didn't pay attention.
Yeah,
on purpose. But so at this point, like I said, they're in the Jeep. They're driving home. This is when we really get to see just how weird Darren is for the first time. Yeah. They're all talking about like what they're gonna do when they get home, and Billy says one thing that's a little awkward, and everybody kind of is like, Billy, jeez. And so then it gets real. It gets for real. Like Johnny makes a touching conversation about his dad and throwing football together. Yeah. And Kristen makes a touching thing about what
glad I'm here.
I'm thankful
with all
for
of
this.
You guys. You know.
And then all of a sudden, again, at this point, they were all they shot down Billy saying what he was actually going to do on break.
Yeah.
And they started saying what they're thankful for, and they were like, Darren, what about you? And instead of saying what he's thankful for, Darren's like, I'm gonna fuck on this trip.
I'm gonna have sex with one of you two. And points at the girls, and they're all like, no,
I don't even know if he said two, dude. I literally think he said with one of the people in this car.
Oh, he takes on all comers.
Which I think is why from the rest of the point, you know, like in the beginning, nobody cared when Darren got a little homoerotic with him. Then he made that statement. And Billy and Johnny both get a lot weirder when he says the stuff or does weird stuff from this point on. Because he didn't say, I'm going to have sex with one of you. He said, I'm going to have sex with someone in this Jeep.
And someone in this car is going to blow me. It's like, no one here is going to do that, man.
But he also just says, like, he's like, again, mind you, this is not spring break. This is Thanksgiving break. Most Thanksgiving breaks are 5 days at best. It's usually 4. Not that much time. He's going to someone else's home as far as we can tell. Yep. And he is like, I'm going to fuck. I'm going to get wasted all day, every day. I'm going to do... I mean, he just goes through this list of like crazy, insane things that you should not be doing on Thanksgiving.
At somebody's house. Like, what if his grandma's
that you don't
there?
know.
You're going to sit there, you're going to get trashed and hit on Billy's grandma or something?
It was so bizarre.
Yeah. Darren's a weird guy. I don't really like him in the beginning. He gets better. In the beginning of the movie, he's really bad.
He stays weird, but he becomes likable weird.
Yeah, likable weird toward the end of
the movie. But in the beginning, it is 100% you're just like, man,
you're with everybody
this guy
else.
should not be here.
Right.
He should not be part of the trip. We should not be going this place
Who the
with
fuck
him.
is this guy? Why is he here? Darren says he's gonna get laid and stuff. Allie's over. She's like, well, it's not gonna be me. I'm a prude. And
They all are just like, you're not a prude.
not
You're
a
a bit of
prude."
a hoe.
And Krista's over is just like, your legs are harder to close than the John Benet Ramsey case. And they're all just kind of like,
Everybody kind of laughs.
They kind of
It's
laugh.
funny.
It's funny.
We're going to go ahead and point out, guys, this joke comes
Comes up a
back.
lot.
And every time it comes back, we will definitely make sure to cover it.
It's a good burn, but they don't sell it
Yeah.
in this first one. They're just kind of like,
This is just a joke that they plan on killing.
Yeah, I guess.
They want to kill it by the time it's finished. But just know, we will circle back
We will come back to it.
to the John Benet Ramsey joke. We just randomly jump from the car
to the old hermit guy living
Yeah.
in the shack in the woods with his dog. I didn't write the dog's name down. I think it was Flashy.
Okay, this is what I want to say. The first time I heard him saying it, I thought he said Lassie,
I
which
did
is definitely
too.
the joke they want to make because it is a border collie.
Yeah.
But then I immediately rewound it because I was like, he's not saying Lassie.
No.
And he wasn't. I heard Lashy, right? Just like you said. But then you go to the end of the movie. When he comes back, the
Yeah.
dude clearly says Flashy.
Right?
I always watch things in closed caption with subtitles, and this movie did not have that available, so I
No.
could not. And so I was literally like, man, this is the one time. This
Yep.
is the one time I really need clarification.
Really wish it was there.
I need clarification on what this man said.
If anybody knows where the script is.
But so either way, there is an old hermit guy,
Yep.
redneck hillbilly,
Lives alone in the woods.
and he's yelling for his dog,
the dog went wandering
who is
off.
either Lassie, Lashy, or Flashy.
Yep, take
Don't
your
know.
pick.
You
I
pick
like
your
Flashy.
favorite. I do too. I love the Flash. We'll go with Flashy.
We'll go with Flashy.
But you can pick your own, everybody at home.
Yep.
Whichever name you want, use. That's cool with us. He yells for his dog. They cut to the dog running through the woods. And then we see the dog. He pees on.
A little totem.
It is a totem pole. But it is a totem pole that is
Very
3 inches tall.
and very clearly plastic.
3 inches tall and in the ground.
Like, did you ever have those like Cowboys and Indians
Yes, no,
playset
it's
things?
definitely
Like,
from
it's
a, yeah.
definitely where
It's
that
from
came
a toy
from.
playset.
Yes.
I mean, this movie's
It was
props.
fantastic.
The movie's props are all
Oh, it was
toys.
great.
But so it's a little tiny toy totem pole that's in the ground.
Dog pees on it.
And as soon as he pees on it,
That resurrects the turkey.
but does it resurrect the turkey? We're gonna go ahead and stop here because this gets brought up later. As far as we, the viewer, know right now, it definitely does indeed look like dog pees on totem pole then brings turkey.
Yep.
But later we hear that the turkey just comes back once every 505 years. So my question to you right now is, did the dog bring the turkey back, or was the dog just in the wrong place at the wrong time, man?
Could have just been all bad timing. Man, I really gotta pee, and I just happened to have to pee on the 505th year, right in this spot. But it does definitely seem like,
P brought turkey back.
yeah, he pissed on him and pissed it off.
I agree.
Because he pops out of the ground, he's like, oh, I'm pissed.
Yeah, he's very mad.
The turkey's voice, he's doing his best to do like Freddie England.
Oh,
Or Freddy Krueger, I mean.
it's so, well, I mean,
Robert England.
Yeah.
I mixed.
You were half and half.
I mushed them together.
but yeah, I mean, no, it is great. That's one of those things. It's one of the reasons why I say like this is such a bad movie. It's good.
Yes.
Because it has exactly what you want right now. Like you've got this crazy horror movie villain. It doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense and it's absurd.
Doesn't have to.
But it look beyond the absurd, and they're
Yeah.
giving you what you want from that kind of horror villain. He's got cliche one-liners.
Yes.
Amazing one-liners.
Right.
I mean, it's exactly what you want from a horror movie. Like 100%
Yep,
what you
from
want.
like an 80s slasher villain.
Yeah,
It's exactly
it's
what you
great.
want.
Now, this I gotta say though, this turkey is 10 times more cold-blooded
Yeah,
than
it is.
any 80s slasher horror movie villain. Because we've had this discussion before. Normally, the dog makes it.
Yeah.
Normally,
even in
you-
like Friday the 13th.
You get the moment where they
Part
make
two.
eye contact with the dog and tilt the head, and then let the dog go. No.
No.
This dog is gone.
immediately.
No feeling for it whatsoever.
The
He pissed,
turkey said he was pissed, man.
and he took him out.
I took your fucking dog straight out. We are done with Redneck
For-
and his dog because
Well, I mean, his dog is gone.
His dog's
But we
dead.
will come back to the dog. We cut to what is the phone call we got told by Kristen she would be making. She said she needed to call her dad. We find out her dad is the sheriff of the town they are going to.
Yep.
They're setting up that this is the house.
Yeah.
Right? And so we see the sheriff walking through the house, and he gets a cup of coffee. He's drinking his coffee. His wife walks in. So they're just going about their day, and he just randomly looks at her and he goes, "Honey,
this coffee tastes like shit.
She turns around, she looks at him, pissed off as all get out, and she's just like, "Well, of course it does. You know why? Because I shit in it."
I want a fucking divorce.
She swirls it around.
Swirled it around.
So you can see it.
Turd in there.
And he's just like,
oh, well, all right, damn.
and then she leaves, and that's it. That's all we see of her. Then he answers the phone and talks to Kristen. Again, this scene has no reason to be here.
None.
They could cut out almost every bit of what they do with the sheriff. It's so fun. They certainly could have made the sheriff not be her dad and everything still work.
He got mad because somebody said toss him a beer, and it wasn't even the beer he was pissed off about. He's like, you can't be tossing. You know tossing's illegal.
He wasn't mad that his daughter was in a vehicle with people drinking and driving. He was mad
that they tossed
a vehicle in the car.
You don't toss beer.
Do that.
That's illegal.
It's crossing the line.
You gently hand the beer over to the driver. Right. Don't throw it at him. That's dangerous.
So
the Jeep breaks down.
Yeah,
right? Like right after.
Literally right after the conversation. But yeah, so that whole scene though, like I said though, we definitely didn't need it. But we could have moved right past it. But it's just to set up something.
The movie wouldn't have been an hour long. That's why they needed it.
I guess they had to find a couple extra scenes. I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't doubt it. Oh, sorry. Before we leave this, we do need to point out this is not Kristen's mom. It's her stepmom. This is already his second wife. Judging by everything I've seen about the sheriff so far, I have no problem believing that.
I love how the phone call
I don't know
ends.
if she died or if she had already left him too.
Superfluous.
But I definitely believe he's on his second wife and she is gone.
I feel like
this man seems like a moron.
I feel like she's the third because he's just at the end of the conversation on the phone. He's just like, "Oh, your stepmom left me."
Yeah,
right,
no
bye.
care. Well, none. Again, as we said, the acting is bad, and one of the things in the best way, and one of the things about the bad acting specifically is that there is never emotion when there should be emotion. So like
no
anytime
emotion.
like people should be like heartbroken or sad about things, they're not.
It's
every
just
single
stiff.
time.
It is
It's
stiff
just
and
totally
dry every time.
straight through the deliveries. Nice Jeep breaks down because it's a piece of crap.
It's a piece of shit Jeep.
Everyone it's so crazy when they park. Did you notice like they park and instead of because they had the top up, right?
Yeah.
Instead of everybody waiting for Johnny and Kristen to get out of the front and get out of it like a car, like you would when the top is up, they all open the back window and literally the people that were even in the back seat climb across the trunk area of the Jeep to get out the back window. I was like, what are you guys doing?
Just so Billy could fall on his ass.
It was it was a comic relief moment for sure.
Fat guy fell.
I want to point out real quick because we've already made a point about like the fact that Darren he definitely does do a lot of very homoerotic things, right? Yeah. I will point this out, and there's nothing wrong with that, but he does a lot.
Yeah,
and this is one of the moments I thought was crazy. Again, I'm not going to use the word. They use a derogatory term for...
it shows up a couple times.
Yeah, for someone of that sexual persuasion. I'm not going to use it because, again, guys, I'm not offended.
No, I don't.
I'm not trying to offend anybody. They use the word. When Billy decides to say this about Darren, all Darren did was jump on his back like piggyback style. Yeah. And, dude, bros in college do that kind of shit.
Do, but...
I was like, this was the least homosexual thing I think Darren has done.
Yeah,
the whole movie so far.
You weren't getting called that.
No, I was
just
like,
for jumping on Billy's back.
I was like, what? Where did that? I literally watched the scene. I was like, that was so jarring, and not just because that was the word they used, because it was weird. Like he could have said that's gay, and I still would have been like, no, it wasn't.
No, not
it's
really.
The least gay thing that Darren has done the whole movie so far.
Darren walks up with
Darren literally said, I'm fucking somebody in this Jeep. Literally, least gay thing that Darren has done whole movie.
He drops onto a sign when he gets thrown off Billy, right?
No, I know this. I want to point this out too. Everybody else was in front of him.
Right there.
And they all walked in the exact same spot. So they all literally walked on this sign and none of them felt it. Again, they're in the woods. This is a metal sign. They would have felt it under their feet when they walked on it. Darren is the one that's like, hey guys, there's a sign. It
says Crawberg on it. Right? That's what it says.
Crawlberg.
Crawl?
Yeah, I thought Crawlberg too. But then when they do the flashback, it's written clearly. Crawlberg.
The animated
Yeah,
flashback?
the animated flashback.
I really liked that.
I did too. He picks up the sign and he's like, oh no, we're in Crawlberg. And this is the moment where my head was like, I don't understand what's happening here. Because they are also only supposed to be like 30 minutes outside of wherever Johnny, Kristen, and Allie's hometown, and Billy's hometown. Everybody but Darren's. And then he's like, y'all don't know what Crawlberg is, and none of them, not a single one of them know what Crawlberg is. And then he starts to tell them this history of Crawlberg, and I'm like, again, Darren is not from here. Why does he know the history of the town, one town over from you?
Because he's the nerd.
I guess.
He's the stereotypical nerd character, so of course he has to be exhibition guy.
It bothered me so
Yeah.
much. He's the one that he starts telling us all the stuff about Kralberg, and they cut to a flashback that is all
Awesome.
animated,
It's
black
awesome.
and white, weird
So
sepia
cool.
like
Yeah,
feel
it's
to
so
it.
cool.
Looks like it's like a Steamboat Willie style or something. It's great. And but my favorite part though is as soon as the flashback starts, he's like, and it all started with the Pilgrims, and Allie goes, I dated one of those once.
I dated a pilgrim once.
And literally, did you see what it says? They put on the screen, they show a Mormon, and in the background behind the Mormon, it says, no, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah. He was a Mormon.
He was a Mormon.
Not a pilgrim.
I missed that
I
one.
loved it, dude. I was like, that is beautiful.
My
That's so
favorite part
hilarious.
was when he's like, and then one guy,
Billy's great
Billy's
grandpa.
great.
That was so nuts
He's
because
just
he
like,
says it.
He's like, oh, that's my last name, and he's like, yeah. And you know
I never
what?
noticed
I
it.
never thought about it
Until
but he's
right
probably
now.
one of your ancestors. It was so funny.
The way they do stuff like that.
Some of
is
the
great.
dialogue is so bad. It's great.
We'll wrap that up a little bit more concisely. We got excited there, guys. You know how we do this. We haven't talked about it to each other yet, so sometimes we get giddy.
Mm-hmm.
But so to wrap that up to maybe so where you guys can understand a little bit better, what happened in the flashback is they find out that in the year, I don't know when the Pilgrim, whenever the first Thanksgiving was.
1621.
Yeah, the year of the first Thanksgiving.
Yes. 505 years from 2010. Figure that out. There's your math homework for today.
Yeah, so it's 505 years, every 505 years. So we find out that there was a Native American, all of his people, right, his tribe,
Yeah.
they got killed off. You know how we all know the story of the Pilgrims, not
Yeah.
intentionally. They brought disease, famine, blah, 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 blah. But because of the Pilgrims came in this one area, his entire tribe died, and Billy's ancestors were dicks. That was very clear in the story.
Yeah.
They were
Not
bad people,
they weren't
and they
nice.
kind of like made fun of the Indians and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Haha, look at your stupid loincloth.
and
You
we're
wear
partially
pants.
responsible for everything.
Yeah.
And so this Indian, this is what I love. They were like, he's an Indian shaman necromancer.
Didn't just necromance anything.
He necromanced a turkey.
A turkey.
And so
And it became the most
turkey's
evil turkey to ever exist.
and this turkey's mission is to kill
White people.
white people.
Only white people.
Well, specifically Billy's family.
yeah.
And all other white. That's how they always say it. They're like, it was designed to kill Billy's ancestors and all
other
the white
white
people.
people.
They find out that the turkey is literally here with a one set mind on killing all white people. And that it shows up every 505 years. Again, like I pointed out earlier about the dog when I brought this up the first time.
Yeah.
All I thought when I saw this scene was wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong place,
Poor
wrong
dog?
time for the dog. Poor dog.
Because of 505 years? Because again, we find out from the story. Now, maybe the dog just woke him up a little bit early, right?
I think that's what happened.
Because at the end of the story, we hear specifically, they're like, oh, so we're safe though, right? There's no way it's been 505 years. And then
Darren's just like,
Darren
oh,
goes,
no, but
he literally looks
in like 45
Darren
minutes.
literally looks at his watch and he goes, oh, no, it's definitely not been 505 years. Not for another 45 minutes. Midnight tonight officially makes it 505 years.
Yeah.
So maybe the dog pee woke up the turkey a few hours early.
Yeah. I'd wake up, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, but if that's not the case, like I said, wrong place, wrong time. Poor dog.
Poor puppy.
Just happened to need to take a leak and he saw this 3-inch totem pole and
Yeah.
was like, seems safe.
Poor. Speaking of poor puppy, that's the next scene.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's when
It
the
was a
hermit
great,
finds him.
beautiful segue.
Yeah, nice segue.
They finish the story and they're like,
Shut up, Darren.
yeah, they're a little bit mad. Well, Johnny's a little bit mad at Darren. He's like, you're scaring everybody.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared. You're scaring the people. There's girls here. And fucking
Yeah.
Billy's just like, yeah, there is. Looking at him.
Pussy.
You big pussy.
But yeah, so we cut to the redneck. The redneck finds he's out hunting in the woods, shotgun in hand,
Yeah.
looking for whatever might have taken his. He didn't even know his dog's gone. He's just looking for his dog at
Yeah.
this point, right? And so he's looking for his dog. Can't seem to find his dog anywhere. Stumbles upon dog carcass.
And the turkey? He's just like, no, what happened? The turkey looks at him and goes, oh, your dog had an accident. The hermit's over. He's just like, he's going to ignore that the turkey can talk.
Nobody addresses
Nobody
the talking
addresses
turkey.
that the turkey talks.
Just understand, everybody in this movie is just like, okay, turkey
talks, it's fine.
It's cool.
But he's just like, what happened? And he's like, oh, you see that axe? I took it and axed him. He had an accident. Get it?
Yeah, exactly. I love it. They gotta go full in every time with the jokes.
Great. He
Yeah.
misses it like point blank range.
It's
and turkey
so
runs
outrageous.
off.
Turkey's
but those dramatic whys, he's like, no, why?
again. And we cut back to our kids in the woods, and Kristen's like, "Oh, I forgot. I was supposed to call my dad again.
Yay!"
So Kristen's like, "I'm gonna go out in the woods." Which again, at this point, I was confused. I was like, "Okay, one of two cliches. This movie's all cliches." So I was like, one of two things is about to happen.
She's gonna die.
No. So my first thought was not she's gonna die. My first thought was Allie's about to fuck Johnny. Then my next thought was she's about to die.
Yeah.
Because it is a slasher movie.
Yeah.
But it is like it's somewhere like it's like a mashup of a college movie and a slasher movie. So I was like, I don't know which one they're going with. But yeah, so she does go out in the woods. It was definitely the second one. She was possibly gonna die. She does not, but the turkey does show up.
The turkey does show up, but she
slaps her around a bit.
She apparently screams so loud it
scares the turkey off.
Runs him off.
I don't really
love
understand.
his line though. He's just like, "I'm gonna drink your blood like cranberry sauce, you big meanie." While she's running away, I was like, "That's funny." The turkey called her a meanie.
Yep. And then she makes it back to the rest of the group. She tells them, "Guys, I saw this turkey."
And they're like, "Oh, shut up."
No, you didn't. Well, Johnny goes, "I believe her," but then immediately is like, "But let's just go to bed," because I mean, I don't know. He didn't say he didn't believe her, but he was like, "I believe you," and essentially was like, "I don't believe you."
I believe you in enough of a capacity that I want to bang you.
Pretty much. But then she's pissed off because she's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, fuck you, Johnny.
But I guess Johnny still sleeps in her tent because he definitely didn't sleep in Allie's tent.
I don't know. I guess all the boys just clambered into one tent.
No, because Billy slept
outside. That's right.
I don't even understand.
I don't know.
I don't really understand the sleeping
Just
situation.
pissily. They had like the space in between them, like a big mound of pillows in between them, and just all.
Just know everybody went to sleep.
Yeah, everybody went to sleep.
So everybody, they all go to sleep. They wake up, and like we said, Billy fell asleep outside. Yeah. Billy wakes up to our crazy redneck guy. Literally, guys,
holding a shotgun to his
this
face.
Isn't even one of those cases where at the end of the movie we find out a name. He never gets a name. He's just like hermit. He calls himself a hermit, or they call him a hermit at the end. But there's no name for this guy. But so our crazy redneck guy literally just sitting there, shotgun in hand, pointed basically at Billy. Billy's like, "What the fuck?
What the fuck?"
And redneck's like, "Well, I was your saving grace. You wouldn't be here if I wasn't here to save you."
That goddamn turkey was sitting right on your chest, about to peck your heart out.
Well, and he was like, "Nuh-uh."
And like, well, then what's with that turkey shit on your chest?
Did you notice that the turkey shit definitely was just like store bought, like those little, like sausage things?
Little sausage things, just drop
100%, right?
Yeah.
Billy is like, "Oh shit," and he wipes the shit off of him. Everybody else hears the commotion, so they come out. They chase off our redneck friend, who, as far as we know, is lying. He's not lying.
No, he
was indeed their only savior.
He could have just shot Billy.
Well, he could have shot Billy. He also could have just left and let the turkey kill Billy.
Yeah.
As far as we know, he was indeed their savior.
Yeah. And then sat there up all night and watched over him. What a fucking nice guy.
Or a creep. It all depends on how you look at it.
I'm going to be positive here for once.
This is the hitchhiking scene.
The hitchhiking
so
scene.
This is another one of those moments where it's just like nobody believes
just
this.
For comedy.
Yeah, nobody has a problem with the talking turkey.
No, none.
So the turkey is hitchhiking.
The guy pulls up and he's just like, "Ass, grass, or cash."
You gotta have one.
The turkey's just like, "Well, I'll go ass. I don't have any cash." And the dude's gonna do it.
Yeah.
The dude's gonna bang a turkey.
No problem.
A talking turkey.
And the turkey's like, "That's not for anybody," or something. It's special. And then he turns around with a gun. Where did he get the shotgun from, dude?
Right, I have no idea where the shotgun came from. It's not the hermit's because he still has his.
I don't know.
He just has it.
I guess. He turns around. He shoots this dude.
And takes.
Well, no.
He makes him call his daughter.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. He pulls the gun, threatens him, and he says, "Call your daughter," or he says, "Call your house."
Yeah,
it just happens to be the dude's daughter. And when the daughter's talking, he's like, "I need you to tell mommy something for me, honey." And before he can say anything else, the turkey just blows him away, guaranteed, on the phone with his daughter. Again, this turkey is cold-blooded. It's nuts.
And can drive a car, too.
Yes, because he immediately starts driving after this. This killer turkey, man.
Right, it's absolutely fantastic. This is just pure comedy scene. That was the only reason it was there. You could have cut it, but it was too good. But where do we go from there? They drop off everybody right after that,
so
right?
At this point, the Jeep is working again. No real explanation for that. Daylight just made it easy to fix the Jeep.
Yeah.
But so they're in the Jeep. They're going to drop everybody off, so they're home.
Yeah.
They don't even really announce it. They're just like, this is Allie's house, and they're like, "Oh, what?
What? Okay, cool."
But so we see before they get out of the car, Allie is throwing herself at Johnny again. And this time Kristen is finally visibly upset about it. And she waits for Allie to get out of the car. Or no, did she wait for her to get out of the car?
Yeah, she got out of the car, but she hadn't walked away completely.
And then makes the John Benet Ramsey joke again.
But this time
it hits. Like, you know, like the first time she told the joke and there were like 2 or 3 like chuckles. Like, this time everybody in the car fucking loses it.
Oh.
They lose it long enough that everybody stops laughing and then it starts up again. Right? They're like, oh man, that was so good.
Because Allie turns around and says bye again and they all kind of shut up and then she turns
and
they were just like, man, that was such a sick burn. Oh my God.
I literally was watching it and was like, did that just happen?
I rewound it. I was like, hang on. She already made this joke before, right?
Like, exactly. Like, I was like, am I crazy?
Right? I would have only done the joke once. I would have cut the first one. I would have done it here. This was the perfect spot for it.
It felt better.
It was such a good spot. Best joke right there.
But again, as we stated, they just wanted to be over an hour, so they needed to keep it in.
They needed to throw it in.
They needed that time to make sure they stayed over an hour.
If we cut that 30 seconds in the beginning, man, we're under an hour 6, and we can't do that.
Now, Allie is the only one we see them drop off. Mm-hmm. Then we just see that Johnny is home. And since it's Johnny's car, we know that means he dropped everybody else off wherever they were going. Johnny gets home. He goes inside. He's talking to his mom about his strained relationship with his dad, because his dad basically has disowned him because he's the second string quarterback.
That's just unacceptable.
And what's so funny is, like, he tells his mom, and she isn't like, you know, like, no, you watch a movie where normally this is what it is. They're like, oh, you can talk to your dad and get through. She's just like, no,
don't
talk to him. It's not worth it. He goes, and then he's like, anyway. No, then he goes, I'm just gonna lie to him.
I'm just gonna lie to him.
I'm just gonna tell him I made the team. I'm still the quarter. And she's like, you shouldn't do that. And he's like, too late, Mom. I'm gonna do it. And he goes out back, sits down with his dad. And indeed does do just that. And it's so funny. It is exactly the way he says. Like, you know, like, you're like, oh, it can't be as bad as this guy is making it.
He literally, as soon as he says
he sits down with his dad and he's just like, when he starts talking, his dad just like, oh, you?
What the fuck are you doing out here smoking a cigar?
You're home again?
Trying to inhale a cigar, you
idiot. It was so strange. Then he lies to him. He's like, I'm back on the #1 quarterback again, Dad.
Immediate 180. He's like, I knew you could do it, son, just like your old man.
And so you're just like, this dude's a dick.
Yeah, he is.
And thankfully, this, you know, normally in movies you don't get this. Yeah. Normally in movies you don't get that immediate satisfaction of thinking in your head, someone should kill this guy.
Yeah.
You think it in this movie. You're literally like, someone should kill this guy.
Right.
And the turkey shows up out of nowhere.
And saws his head off. Doesn't just cut it off. Saws it off.
And throws it to Johnny.
Throws it at him like, here, heads up.
And Johnny freaks out, runs inside to scream to his mom, who's already been killed. Man, that turkey's quick.
Yeah, he is.
Because Johnny was just inside.
Like, pecked her eyes and her tongue out and shit. She was the scariest looking corpse.
Now, again, we're going to talk about the bad acting. Because at this point, Johnny's parents are dead. They are dead. Yep. He does not seem that upset. No. He does not seem that worried. He's not
even that afraid either.
Excited, anxious.
No.
Like, none of these things apply to Johnny. We cut from here to
Billy's car.
Yeah, well, then I don't even care about the car scene because that's so quick. But
that's so funny.
I know, but we get to Billy, and literally when he gets to Billy's, he's sitting down with everybody. It looks like they're just sitting in front of a house party.
Right.
Like, we don't see the rest of the house party. We just see them talking to each other out front. Because he's sitting with a beer in his hand.
Right.
He's just kind of got his head hung down. He's just like, and he just nonchalantly is like, guys, my parents are dead. My parents are gone now. And again,
like he's delivering the weather.
And he mentioned that first. He wasn't like, the turkey is back, guys.
Right.
He was like, my parents are gone. Then he goes, the turkey did it.
Right. It's so bad.
And again, as soon as he's like, the turkey did it, like, there's like this half mix in the group of like, sure, Johnny.
Yeah, it's just, but Allie's not there.
Yeah.
You have to warn Allie.
Well, we don't, rolling through that really quick. But yeah, everybody hears Johnny. At first, they kind of don't believe him. And then then they realize, though, that, you know, like, this is the second person that said they've seen it. So it's definitely got to be true. Right. And so they're like, okay, well,
Krista should have been like, oh, now you fucking believe
right,
me.
100%. So they're like, well, oh no, what about Allie? We need to go get Allie. She's not with us. And the turkey definitely knows she's part of the group too. They hop in the Jeep, head to Allie's house.
Right.
We see, we cut to upstairs in Allie's house, in Allie's room. She's sneaking a random dude, a dude we've not met yet.
Just some random guy.
Into her room to go have some,
some really awkward clothes on sex.
Well, I mean, come on. Again, like we said earlier, there are titties in the first 5 seconds.
I know.
And then everything
but there's ways to cut around things to make it look, but this was just super
everything
awkward.
else in this movie is like, it got an R rating probably for language only, but everything else, like visually, PG-13 for the most part. Like, none of the blood is real.
No.
Nothing is, like PG-13 for sure. They definitely made sure that you couldn't see anything. No accidental seeing of anything.
You're not seeing nothing, but it just looked so funny.
She's doing the deed, killer turkey, shows up at her house, sneaks in, watches for a minute, kind of gets turned on.
Right.
Kills dude. And then for the really messed up part, his blood hits her back. She thought she just took some back shots.
Yeah, she's just like, wow, you were done quick.
And then the turkey throws on a condom.
An extra small gravy flavor.
Yes, an extra small gravy flavored condom. And
at least he was safe.
Proceeds to finish. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Proceeds to finish.
And then kills her.
And then kills Allie. Snaps her.
Like right when she realizes, like she does the look back and she's like, ah, and then snap.
Allie's gone. No more Allie.
No more Allie.
Everybody else shows up to the house, to Allie's house.
Fucking Billy, he's just like, you think we got here in time?
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, maybe, till you said that.
No.
But so Johnny goes inside to check on her. Everybody else is outside. Darren goes for the joke. He hits the John Benet Ramsey joke one more time. Everybody knowing there is at least a 50-50 chance that she's dead,
right?
And he still thought it was going to be okay.
No.
Immediately after he makes the joke, and this time nobody laughs. Like the first time there was chuckles. Second time, full on guffaw. Third time, nothing. And immediately after he makes the joke, Johnny comes outside. She's dead. And it was like, oh God.
You wish you hadn't even opened your mouth now, don't you?
And so they just go from there, and they realize, like, we got to figure out what we can do. We got to leave here.
We got to go kill this cock-blocking turkey.
Yes.
Because Billy was like, man, she was finally warming up to me. No, Billy. No, she wasn't. Wishful thinking. I don't want to take it from the man, but no.
Yeah, definitely not true. And then, so at this point, though, they all talk. They're trying to come up with a plan, right?
Right.
I loved how ridiculous this was. They're all trying to come up with a plan, and then randomly, Johnny is like, I got an idea. What about those books, right? You said books had stuff about this in it, right, Darren? And again, Darren totally may have said that this is in the I don't even think he said books. He just said history. He said this is history.
He said turkeyologists study this.
In history. But he didn't say there were actual books about this.
Right.
But then Johnny is just like, books about this, right? And then everybody's like, yeah. And I'm like, are there?
Where are we going to get books, Billy says.
Nobody said a library.
We go to a library.
But
the library's closed.
Okay. And then Kristen goes, my dad's got a lot of books. And I was just like, I call bullshit on that man owning a lot of books. That sheriff does not own a lot of books.
He does not read.
That sheriff owns TV guides from 1985.
It's a bunch of Archie comics. He just reads Jughead.
Right?
That's it.
I'm sorry. He doesn't read.
No.
But so they're like, okay, so we just need to go to your house. We'll find these books.
Yeah.
We got to lie to your dad, though. He can't know what we're doing. Which I was like, you wouldn't tell the sheriff, the only man with guns? What's going on? Okay.
Maybe a couple deputies.
Well, and again, a man you think has books that know about this subject, so maybe he knows about what's going on. No, that's not what they go with. Before they can get over to the house, we see the turkey shows up.
Yep.
Well, I love this scene because right before he gets inside, they show the dad looks at the refrigerator and he's like, oh yeah, it's costume party day.
Yeah, I gotta get ready. And he's dressed as a fucking turkey.
He's dressed as a giant turkey. So it's beautiful because he goes to open the door as a man in a turkey costume. And he's talking to a turkey in a man costume.
I wrote that in my notes.
Mind blown, dude. I was like, there are so many layers in this joke right now that it is beautiful. And then the
awkward small talk over coffee.
Yes, dude. It was so weird.
So
and then Turkey's just like, all right, well, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. Just tell. He says, tell Callie that I was here. Yeah. And then the dad goes, you mean
Krista? He's like, yeah, sure. Kristen. I wrote it like 5 different ways in my notes.
Well, they probably said it 5 different ways.
Krista, Christy, Kristen, Christine, Christina. I have it all.
Dude, well, they definitely never said Christina, but everything else you said, there's at least a small chance they may have said it that way.
I'm sure.
Movie. With the way they wrote this thing, I would not be surprised. So the turkey is like, he has accepted that he just needs to leave. And so he's like, I'm gonna leave, but then
again, as anyone would dealing with this man, because this dude is so stupid. But so he says one more thing. He says one more thing. I'm gonna, and so the turkey is trying to leave, and the dad says one more thing.
He's like, hey, weird little duck, aren't you?
Yeah, he called him a duck, and that was it. That was the last line. No more sheriff.
Nope.
Immediately after that, we get the kids show up to the house.
I loved this.
The turkey answers the door.
Wearing the
now in a sheriff costume. The joke has just added another layer.
And it works.
No
one calls it.
Kristen didn't notice that this wasn't her dad.
Right.
She was like, something seems different with your hair. And then he pulls the hat off so you can see that he literally skinned it all the way back.
I got a haircut. Like,
nobody notices. Because again, like, this isn't one of those things where, like, this is definitely a turkey-sized turkey puppet, right?
She literally kneels down to
talk to it. Again, we constantly see things around. The totem for the turkey is small. Yeah. It's supposed to be small. There is no...
It's not a giant turkey.
She definitely recognized that this turkey was 4 foot shorter than her dad. 100%. Now, that being said, I want to point out, I love all the turkey-sized props that this movie has, including the cute little turkey sheriff mask.
Little sheriff mask.
Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, like, but cut off, like, leather face mask.
It's super small. There's no way it was an actual face.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good.
But so, they all get there.
They're like, hey, Dad, we need to borrow your books.
And he lets them.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, they're over there.
Go on.
You know where they're at. So Dad, you're still a crazy memory.
So they start looking through the books.
We get a montage.
We get this montage. I love this montage.
Right.
Because in this montage, we see them all reading. And I swear we learn that Billy doesn't know how to read. Darren teaches him how to read. And then he still struggles. And then basically, then Darren finds it.
Right.
Everything's over. Right. And then, like, they're talking about how long it was. And then we find out that the montage was only 5 minutes in real time. And it's like, holy shit. So Darren just taught Billy how to read in 5 minutes? Fuck, man. Darren's good.
He's good. He's a smart guy.
But so then what's great is he finds the book, and it's definitely a book that is all about this turkey.
Right.
He's just reading it. And this book literally is just a guide to the movie. We're not like, we're talking like, this is so meta. This is like finding the Spaceballs tape of Spaceballs to know what to do next. This is essentially the book of the movie because everything they need to know is spelled out exactly in this
point
book.
Blank.
Right? And even the thing that wasn't spelled out exactly was in a code. And it's all numbers.
Right.
And I love it because he's like, Darren goes, it's in math. I'm great at math. I've got this. And then we get this moment where Billy is, again, he didn't know how to read. And this is how much they prove the fact that he didn't know how to read. Like, he hears this thing about the mathematical code and Darren needing to break it. And Billy is like, geez, I just hate books. Why are books gotta be like this? And it's like, books aren't like this, man.
No.
That's not normal. Does Billy think that's normal? Does Billy not know?
All books end with a code. We all know this.
Apparently.
You got to have a master's in algebra to figure out the end of any story.
It's so crazy. But so then Billy is like, Billy's
hungry.
He says he needs to use the bathroom and he's hungry because Billy's a big one. So he goes out to the kitchen, and when he gets to the kitchen, he sees the turkey dragging Sheriff's dead body.
The body away.
And he's like, wait a minute. If that's the sheriff, then you must be. It's the turkey. Now, I want to point out, we both said that really loudly. Billy did not.
No.
Billy did not yell for people.
It's a tiny house. He probably doesn't have to yell very loud.
I know, but still.
Hey, guys, the turkey.
Before we get to everything to do with Billy and the turkey in the kitchen, we forgot to mention everything they learned about the turkey from the book.
Yeah.
They realized, we did tell you the book is the magical guide.
Yeah.
We forgot to tell you exactly what the magical guide
was.
No. So they found out that the turkey is guarded by a talisman
that can be hidden in its plumage.
This was the beautiful part. Again, like, the book was a guide because literally, like, he was like, well, I didn't see no talisman. And then Darren just goes, the book says if you can't see a talisman, then it must be hidden in its plumage.
And it cuts to Billy, and he's kind of like, plumage? What the fuck is that?
And they're like feathers. But yeah, so literally that moment happens several times from this point on, where they'll say something and then they'll immediately
immediately be like, we'll get back there. So there's plumage. They need to burn the turkey at a stake
and say a prayer backwards,
and a demonic,
or something like that.
backwards. Cut back to where we were. Billy's in the kitchen. Billy gets killed. Well, Billy puts the turkey in a headlock because he's trying to get the talisman. Nobody is helping, and he has to literally yell at somebody like, "Someone get this thing!"
Come on, guys, don't just stand there.
Why am I just doing this?
And then Johnny grabs the thing, and the turkey
pulls it out.
Bolts.
Yep.
And then they all kind of get mad. Like, Billy's like, you all suck sometimes. And they get kind of pissy with him, and he leaves.
Yeah, he's walking down the street. Then Billy's just mad at everybody because, again, nobody was doing what they should have.
They didn't help him at all.
And so Billy's like, I'm gone. Which, again, they even call. Johnny was like, he's dead.
As soon as he walks away, he's like, well, he's dead.
And he was.
Yeah. But Johnny and Christy go off, and they're having a little heartfelt talk thing, and they almost...
Which makes...
No,
it's not the time.
It's not heartfelt at all either.
Well, and it's just not the time.
Is so bad.
Well, yeah, because they're both talking... At this point, they're both talking about how they have no parents.
Yeah, they both have no parents.
But neither one of them are showing any emotion about the fact that there are dead parents, and their lives are completely different and totally changed forever.
They almost kiss, and then
Darren walks in,
and he's just like, "Oh, I figured out the code at the end."
So now he knows the words.
Yeah, now I know
the code was the words.
The code was
the demonic
phrase.
That they had.
And then it cuts over to Billy
walking down the street,
and he is just so hungry.
Yeah,
the poor fat man. He can't stand it.
Well, it's like it's so funny. They say he's hungry, but then the sound effect they use sounds more like he's about to shit his pants, and it sounds like his stomach is growling. Literally, he hears this growl in his stomach, and then he's shotgun straight through the chest, and the turkey comes blasting through the hole.
Right?
It was insane.
Pops through his chest. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
No more Billy.
Poor Billy. I liked Billy.
And
then they drive.
They showed up because again they realized it was dumb. They should never have let him leave, and
Billy
they were right behind him.
The book says it. The book is like
that's right. The book was like, if you can't find the turkey is in his teepee. We need to point that out.
Yeah.
And if he's not in his teepee, he's probably killing one of your friends.
And they all go, Billy, but it's way too late. They roll up, and
this scene goes
crazy. On too long.
Way too long.
Darren
rolls up, and he's just like, no, not Billy. They have this touching moment. Billy's like, you're one of the cool kids now. It was so
I'm one of the cool kids. It's because of you.
They have this.
It's because of you.
They have this weird.
There's a song.
There's this dream flashback thing with a song playing.
Oh, Billy, why'd you have to die?
No, I miss you so much, Billy. This song goes out to you.
Billy, Billy, Billy. Oh, Billy.
It was way too much.
It went on for like 5 minutes.
But again, it really paints my picture about if Darren and Billy were this close of friends, how did Johnny not know who the fuck Darren was?
Right. If half of what happened in that dream sequence.
Jeez, it's insane. But now Darren has the look of a wild man in his eyes. He is out for vengeance.
Yeah, yes, he is going to kill him some turkey.
You took out his best friend, and he is not okay with it. So now they realize they need to find the miniature teepee.
Yep.
Right? So they go driving. They're like, it can't be too hard to find.
How many teepees could there possibly be?
And so they go looking. And again, I will point out, it is a miniature teepee.
It is tiny.
It is tiny.
It is 5 feet
It's big
tall.
enough for this turkey. Yeah. Right? We see the turkey inside.
He's making a salad.
Eating himself some salad. Because I guess that's what a turkey does.
He's had a lot of red meat past few hours. You need to balance it out.
And now this was so great because we see them. They get there and they're like, all right. They come up with this plan. And Johnny and Kristen are on one side of the teepee. And they're like, Darren, you're going to have to do all the brave stuff. You're going to have to do this. You have to choke it out with the string. And you're going to do this. You know, like all this great. And Darren's literally like,
so I'm doing all the hard work.
Why am I doing all the work? I don't understand. They're like, just don't worry about it. Just do it.
You wanted to avenge Billy's death or not? Quit being a pussy.
Now we do it. And so they show them. They're like, Darren, you get on the other side of the tent, right? And Darren gets on the other side of the tent, and they're on one side of the tent. You can literally see all of them around the tent, right? You can see them in frame. You can see them all in frame around tent. It's insane. Then they show Turkey inside the tent. Johnny and Kristen inside tent. This is a tent that literally seconds ago they were standing
on the inside.
I have it in my notes. I said, "Oh, the turkey lives in a TARDIS teepee."
It's a TARDIS tent
because literally they are standing taller than the teepee outside, and then they are inside the teepee.
And they can stand straight up.
No problem.
Fucking Johnny walks in. He's like, "You're not such a badass after all, are you?"
Yeah, Turkey's like, "Who do you think you are? I'm about to kill you guys." So then Darren comes in with the rope. So a couple of moments before we skipped over this, Johnny was like, they were like, we got anything we can tie him up with? And Johnny goes, yeah, I got this rope from my Jeep. and he literally pulls out string.
Yeah,
it is string. It is funny because again, everything is miniaturized for the turkey. So I get what happened, but it doesn't work if the people start with it. It only works if the turkey starts with it.
Yeah.
Because for him, it should be that small. For them, it should not be.
Yeah, he still should have called it string.
Yes.
Not rope. It's like, well, I got the string. That'll work. It's just a turkey.
I'd have been fine.
Yeah.
But no, they called it rope. Darren jumps in with the rope.
Rope.
And he chokes the turkey out.
Ties him up.
They're having this conversation with him.
And the turkey's Darren's just like, oh yeah, I got something you don't. What's that, Darren? A vagina?
Yeah, it was so great. Crazy.
He's like, no, a book.
But so then they start reading the incantation
backward
over him, so that way they can burn him.
It does seem like it's hurting.
You can tell something happens. Something happens.
Because he's like, oh, God, it hurts. And then he tries to run away, and as soon as he walks outside, hermit with shotgun.
No, but before this, though, when he first starts to run outside, right? Isn't that when we get the line from Kristen? She's like,
I don't know.
We got to get that cock.
Oh, yeah, I want to see this cock burn.
Yeah, I want to see the cock burn.
And then,
and Johnny goes, what? And she goes, no, I mean like a dick, not the animal.
Right. I want to see that dick burn right there.
Yeah, I loved it. Because again, like Johnny was like, what? It's a turkey.
Yeah.
Not a chicken.
It's not a chicken.
It was such a funny moment.
Wrong animal, Kristen. He was trying to be smart.
Yeah, so then the turkey, our killer turkey, that's literally, my nickname for him is KT. Killer Turkey. So KT kicks his way outside, and the redneck is waiting right there for him. Shoots him. Point blank,
as soon as
in
he
the
gets
face.
out there.
He's gone.
Boom.
Into a dumpster. He lands into a
this dumpster.
And it's great. Everybody runs outside. They see the redneck. Redneck's like, took him out. And they're like, oh, I'm sure that he's not
like,
dead.
no, there has to be you
a
have
certain
to do it
order.
certain
We
way.
got to do this. They all walk over to the dumpster, look inside, and they're like, nope.
No, he's dead.
Nope. Yeah, there's...
That's
not coming back from that one.
That's a big hole.
Not coming back from that one. Now, this is the scene where the man says the dog's name, and I was like, oh, Flashy.
It's so funny. He's just like, he killed my dog, Flashy. I hope none of you all ever have to experience anything so horrible.
After everybody there's parents, friends,
best friend, everything
family,
died.
something has died. And no, again, cold blank. Nobody says anything. No emotion.
They're just like,
okay,
yeah,
you're right, man.
And then he leaves. And they're just like, well, man, we killed a giant radioactive
Let's go celebrate.
turkey.
And then their celebration was just to go watch a movie.
We're going to watch a movie and eat popcorn.
In a house with dead people.
Yeah.
No one's cleaned dead bodies up yet.
Dead sheriff is still in that house.
So messed up.
It's whatever. When they walk away,
there's green.
The trash can starts to glow green. And
there's magic.
And we see on the side of it, it says toxic waste.
So the turkey comes back.
Yeah,
Well, it didn't even matter about the toxic waste though, did it? Because again, the turkey came back because they didn't finish. Well, because they didn't finish everything.
Yeah,
we'll find out later.
But now he's nuclear powered.
I guess. But so he is glowing. He is glowing green for the small rest of the movie. There's not much left
of it.
Yeah, so he's glowing green. Everybody thinks he's gone, so their guard is down.
They're
in the house.
The movie.
Billy and Kristen are literally start to go at it.
Yeah, I heard the zipper.
In front of Darren.
Darren, he's just like, I'm gonna go pee.
Yeah,
now.
so Darren's like,
I've been that guy at the party, sitting on the couch, and somebody just starts doing it. It's like, yep, I'm leaving. Time to go.
Yeah. But so he goes to the bathroom just to get away from everything.
Yep. Then he goes in the kitchen and gets shot in the ass with a meat thermometer.
Yeah. And he's like, what?
Why won't you die? To the turkey who's come back. And then it kills him.
Yeah. I was not ready for that.
Pulled his tongue out.
I was not ready for I didn't think Darren did not. I thought Darren
was going to make it. I really did.
And then we see this beautiful
Oh,
moment,
it's so beautiful. So great.
Billy's
there.
Billy's waiting in the clouds.
In the white clouds. He's like, come on, man. There's no turkeys here. Just good times, brother.
So Billy and
Darren are reunited. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. boys. But so then
love.
So then we cut to Johnny and Kristen. They're struggling to gain consciousness after their session.
Sex, I guess, because they're just passed out on the couch.
It was so weird because it's not been that long.
No,
the transition.
It's been like long enough for him to piss.
Yeah. But so they wake up and they're like, "What's going on?"
I thought I heard the turkey.
Yeah,
you're crazy. It's dead.
Can't be a turkey. We killed it. And then they see the turkey.
They go and they see Darren, and he's like, "Oh, he's dead." And then the turkey stabs Johnny with the automatic knife carver thing.
And Johnny is
bleeding bad.
Yeah, it's not good.
Nope.
So then they're like, "Whoa, no! What are we gonna do?" So they run outside because they realize they still need to burn him. So they're trying to figure out what they can do. She's just trying to keep Johnny alive right now. So she grabs Johnny and they're trying to hide. They go to the utility garage shed thing, right? And they're like, we're gonna hide in here.
You still have that lighter?
And he pulls out the lighter
and a can of spray paint. And fuck, what does she say to him?
I don't remember.
She has a one-liner where, and then she burns him, and he just starts melting.
Yeah, he's like, ah! Again, I'll point out every time they have an animal that gets cooked. Like earlier in the movie, there was a rabbit that got thrown into a fire. Yeah. This time, it's this thing that's on fire. It is literally like a stuffed animal. You can see melting plastic from the props and shit that they put into the fire. It's so beautiful. I love it. But yeah, so he dies, and you're like, oh man, so she's our final girl. But then Johnny's like, I'm still here. And he starts to have this conversation with her. But then he's like, no, I'm still going to die. And he keels over, and it's just her. Yep. That's it.
And then she has the turkey leg. She pulls. It pops out of the fire.
I guess it was 100% a chicken leg. Though.
It was so.
They
small.
could have gotten a turkey leg.
It was the tiniest thing.
That was a chicken leg and a tiny chicken leg. But yeah, she's eating it. The redneck shows up for no reason, and she's eating the leg.
He's just like, that a girl, you know?
She's just like, yeah,
I know, all badass.
And he eats the leg. That's the end. Fade to black.
Or is it?
Before we get credits, we get one more scene.
One more scene.
We see this
nice,
typical
happy family.
Everyday Thanksgiving.
They're just getting ready.
Turkey on the table.
The one cousin has the weird hat, and he's like, I love Thanksgiving.
And you're like, what's possibly going to happen here?
What the fuck is this? And there's, and they all start
doing And then surprise twist ending, it is not that the turkey shows up to kill everybody. It is that the cooked turkey on the table is our turkey and is somehow come back as a cooked turkey to kill everybody.
And then the screen says to be continued.
Thankskilling 2.
In space.
But it never happened.
I know, I'm disappointed. I wanted that.
There is a Thankskilling 3. There is no 2.
No 2. They skipped their own sequel.
Yeah, to make a funny. Just like they made funnies with this one.
I appreciate shit like that. I really do.
It was good.
But if they do a fourth one,
I'm all for it.
Maybe let's go to space. I'm ready for it.
All right.
So that's it.
That's
it. The movie.
We're good, everybody. So now
we got to do the drink for next week.
Yeah.
Right. So we're gonna be doing Heineken. Yeah. It's a Dutch pale lager. So we're gonna do the Dutch.
You guys know the drill at this point. And if you're new here and you don't, maybe figure it out. This might be the last time, guys. We're gonna tell you.
Yeah.
This is your hint for what we're gonna do next week. We're not gonna come out and tell you. You gotta try to use that brain of yours. Use some clues.
Right. And message us on all the
you
social
figure it
stuff.
out. If you figure it out, tell us.
Yeah.
We're trying to see if people got it in them.
It's a game. And we would love it if you all would play.
All right.
But in the words of a very wise man, gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
It's got a nice bump to it.